And now for something completely different.
I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah, this all God, this ain't no lie. Yeah, I used to be stuck in that mud. Whoa. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah, this all God, this ain't no lie. Yeah, I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm up like my name Lazarus. No Satan gon' be mad at this. I had to ask my dad if it's okay to swing my bat at this. He said, boy, if I picture this out of the park, moving so quick it's like they stuck in park. They see the numbers, but I see the heart. 10,000 hours you spent in the dark, putting in good work, even though you didn't even know that it would work. Talking about a man who grew up in woodwork, do it for the love of it, that's the way it should work. Yeah, yeah. I know some people gon' look at me crazy and I'm like, for what? Man, I was stuck, I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah. This all God, this ain't no love. Yeah, I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm
down. Now I'm up like a seesaw. When I'm on a beat like an old man's lawn, better keep off. From the ground to the treetops, got clouds on my feet like Jack in the Beanstalk. Jumped off quick, went straight in a free fall. Cowboy hat and a mic singing yeehaw. Landed on my feet like a feline, put him back in the seat like a recline. Ay, what you mean I'm not worthy? Did it with a purpose, didn't need a permit. Digging from the bottom and I brought it to the surface. Mind your business now, who I worship. Who the little guy making big moves. Tick tock, turn it to a tick boom. Yeah, I talk a lot of stuff, probably thought it was a bluff, till I went and turned it where
I was down, but now I'm up. Let's go. Yeah. This all God, this ain't no love. Yeah, I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm up.
I like that one.
That's a great song.
Oh, I know that song.
Boy Child got me hooked on that one.
I take credit.
Actually, a Christian group.
It is. It is. So, welcome in, everybody. There's Boy Child's stomach.
His stomach.
Boy Child's stomach. There. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait a minute.
There he is.
Positioning with your camera is so hard.
There he is. So, good to see everybody. Happy Tuesday night.
It doesn't feel like Tuesday.
Doesn't feel like Tuesday. Now, I agree with that, because earlier today, I kept thinking today was like Wednesday or Thursday.
I kept thinking today was Monday.
Oh, let's don't do that. So, good to see everybody. All right. That's all.
It was very good. I liked it.
Okay.
Everybody have a good night.
Sounds like you're kicking him out.
Well, he was headed out before the intro started, and I wanted him to see the. He's got to go fix his phone. And unroll. Good night. And unroll his new rug. He ordered a new rug for his bedroom.
Aw.
He was very excited about that. Let's welcome in the chat, and then we got book club tonight.
We do.
We do. Welcome in Stacy Rogers, Nicole Happy Song, Fred O'Malley, Mama Davy Bernfeld, Monorail Molly. Good to see you. 100 Acre Wood, welcome in. Samantha Lowe, hello. Chris S, welcome. Ashley King, howdy. Good to see you. Debbie Thuner, good evening. Wendy B, hello. Let's see. There's Sparkly Pink Diamonds. Hello, Angie. Good evening. Mike Beachman, welcome in. And there she is. The lovely, the beautiful, the ever so talented. My Snickerdoodle, the Daisy Duck to my Donald Duck, the Chili to my Bandit, the Sue Storm to my Reed Richards, the Rogue to my Gambit, and the Mary Jane to my Peter Parker. Frosting to my cupcake. I don't know. Snickerdoodle. Hello, dear. Debbie Sooner, welcome in. We got Debbie and then Wendy scrolling on down. Hatbox Ghost, welcome in, Jerry. Good to see you. Let's see. There's Ashley and there's Pete McDevitt. Welcome in, sir. Howdy. Mary Kehoe, good evening, Mary. And we're caught up. Just like that. Jonathan Chong, welcome in, John. Sorry. So it has been a stormy evening here, Steve. We had a really bad storm roll up through about 7 o'clock.
I got soaked earlier.
Yeah. I know I was watching Jim earlier, Jim More Sunshine Please. And as he was starting his stream, he was saying he didn't know if you could hear it or not, but it was thundering very heavily at his house. Yeah. Mindy says it's pouring rain in the courtyard tonight. Frog choker rain. Wow.
What does that mean? It chokes the frogs, drowns them?
Means it's so, yeah. Yep.
That's so southern.
Mike 88 NYC, what's up? Good to see you. Hey, howdy. We were T. Marie's place. Howdy, Sandy. You were talking about Southern, Steve. We were I was bringing the parents home from somewhere, and we were just having normal conversation. And I said something, and I was like, I could not say that on stream because nobody would know what the heck I was talking about.
And what was that?
I don't know. We were talking about something, and I was like, that's something I ain't never seen before. So yeah, I don't know. Something like that. Kenneth H. Well, thank you for the floating hippos, Kenneth. I've got to fix that. Here we go.
Hippopotamus, hippopotamus, hippopotamus. Ow!
See, Angie understood it. Ain't never seen it before. Yep. Anyway, Wendy Beastie. Yeah, I know Wendy speaks my language. She's just down the road. Right over the holler. So, I had chicken for supper tonight, Steve. What'd you have for supper tonight?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I had a couple pieces of watermelon and some yogurt.
Yeah. I fixed some chicken in the Ninja.
Nice.
So I followed just then. I speak red, you know. So yeah, had a little bit of that earlier.
We might have some breaking news after we're done reading.
Oh.
After we're done reading.
After we're done reading. Okay. So we're going to get to reading. There may be a little bit of a chill after the reading. We'll have to see. I'm currently up to my neck working and Name That Tune that's coming back Saturday night. So zippity-doo Doug. Welcome in, Doug. Howdy, howdy. So tonight we pick up at in our book. Then there's Tina with the other 5 floating hippos. Thank you, Tina. Chapter 2.
I'm a hippopotamus. I like swimming, but I'm dangerous. If you get too close to me, I might just bite your feet.
Angie said she made fish tacos for supper tonight.
Ugh.
I bet they were good. I'm good. So we pick up tonight in our book, Once Upon a Time, or not Once Upon a Time.
Please no.
Tale as old as time. Yeah. We pick up with meanwhile at the castle. We're starting to find out some information about the magic, and Belle and Beast are kind of starting to become more friendly, I guess. Movie Man Nick, welcome in, Nick. Right guy, what's up, bud? Hey. Um, they had a night where they gave all of the staff the night off and like tried to cook their own meal and then serve themselves, and it went pretty well. And then Beast got mad and ran off because Belle said something about his parents. And then Belle went and hung out with the staff for a while. Kelsey Elizabeth, welcome in. Good to see you, Kelsey. And then they told her that the Beast's parents died from the plague or fever or whatever it was that ravaged the kingdom. And then she felt bad for what she said about his parents, yada yada. So yeah, is that kind of catch us up, Steve?
I think so. It's been a week.
It's been a week. Yeah. So we pick up here. Meanwhile, not at the castle. So it looks like we're dipping back in to find out some of what's happened to Maurice.
Ooh, we haven't been there in a while.
We haven't. We hadn't heard from Maurice in a while. So here we go. Maurice looked out the window of the automatic carriage with a strange mixture of desperation, revulsion, and regret. Regret because despite the dire circumstances, he was being carried home by a marvel, a magical thing that figured out the way without eyes or ears and trotted along without a horse. He wished he had more time and the ability to observe it properly, poke at it, tinker with it, see if it obeyed anyone other than the beast. Revulsion because when he dreamed of a world filled with carriages that could carry themselves and carts without horses, he never imagined such a sickly insectoid thing. The magical conveyance didn't roll. It didn't have wheels at all. Instead, it creeped along on its shafts and axles, making a terrible scurrying noise, like a giant cockroach. In desperation, because he had to go find someone to help him get Belle immediately. But who? He didn't really have any close friends, and he suspected that Monsieur Levi probably wouldn't be up to a raid on a magical castle. The man was easily 20 years older than Maurice himself. Who was young and strong enough to help? Who could round up a posse of helpers to go after the beast? And then it hit him. There was only one person really, and it should have been obvious. As soon as the carriage turned onto the main square, Maurice started to pull at the door. He needn't have tried so hard. It was unlocked and swung open easily, causing him to tumble out onto the wet, cold stones. The carriage thing screeched to a halt. Goodbye, thank you, Maurice called distractedly. He wasn't sure what the etiquette was with a thing like that, but it never hurt to be polite. The carriage executed a strange four-legged curtsy or bow, just the way he imagined elephants in the Far East did to let people up and down their enormous trunks. Then it scurried off in a nauseating fashion. Snow was falling, Maurice suddenly realized. He had been so preoccupied with everything on the trip back, he hadn't even noticed. Running carefully on the slick cobblestones, he made for the pub. It seemed as if the usual crowd had been drinking there for a while that night already. The sounds of laughter and singing spilled out into the otherwise silent town. The wind caught the door as Maurice threw it open, slamming it loudly and theatrically. It wasn't what he intended, but the resulting effect was useful. Everyone stopped what they were doing and turned to stare. Help, everyone, I need your help. Maurice, the old barmaid asked, concerned. He took her and locked her in a dungeon. Damn his inability to speak clearly, communication had never been one of the inventor's strengths, and it was definitely a liability now. Who? That was LeFou, Gaston's little friend. He wasn't a bad sort if you could get him away from the hunter. Not that bright, but fiercely loyal and game for just about anything. Exactly the sort of man you would want along on a beast hunting expedition. Bell, we have to go. Not a minute to lose. He grabbed LeFou's hand and spun to leave, wildly checking the rack of guns and firearms and other weapons they kept by the door. They would need to be heavily armed. Whoa, slow down, Maurice. Who's got Bell locked in a dungeon? Suddenly, Gaston was between him and LeFou. For a big man, he moved surprisingly quick. Even in Maurice's addled state, he noticed there were odd patches of mud that had been carefully brushed off, but not entirely removed from the man's inappropriately fancy pants. He was hunting in formal gear when he fell into a pig. Was he hunting in a formal gear when he fell from a pig wallow? A mystery for another time. The beast, a terrible, horrible beast. Maurice made his arms go as wide as they could. Gaston raised his eyebrows as the patrons at the bar, who had all turned around to listen. Is it a big beast? One of them asked. Huge, Maurice said, shuddering. But did it have sharp, cruel fangs? Another asked. Yes, but it spoke like a man and walked on 2 feet. What about a long, ugly snout? A third asked. Yes, yes, Maurice said, exasperated. Who cared what the beast looked like in detail? It was dangerous and he had his bell. Will you help me? Of course, Gaston said politely. He gestured with his chin to the barflies. We'll all help you out. Oh, thank you, Maurice said with a sigh. The inventor turned back to the door. The village was a touch and go place filled with people of questionable morality. But when push came to shove, his neighbors really did. Suddenly he found arms under his shoulders and his feet dangling off the floor. We'll help you out, someone cried. The door was thrown open in front of him and Maurice was pitched out onto the black cold. No, he shrieked, spinning around immediately, but the door slammed in his face. He hit it again and again as hard as he could with his fists. No, I saw it, he screamed. Will no one listen? Gaston stuck his head out a window to take one last look before shutting it. Crazy old Maurice. I'm not crazy, Maurice shrieked. Will someone help me? But the town was dead. Everyone inside with their families or loved ones, doors and windows barred tight. I'll just have to rescue her myself, Belle's father said quietly, once the reality of the situation sank in. He was a dreamer, it was true, but no inventor lasted long in his or her career by giving in to dreaming. The moment something didn't work, either due to a misunderstanding of how a metal behaved or how steam would push a certain way, you had to immediately stop and think and figure out what the cause of the problem was and start again from there. Practical, pragmatic, dogged. They were all the adjectives used to describe successful inventors. Maurice turned around in the cold night and headed steadily for home. He wished, however, that his wife were there to help. She was, he vaguely recalled, extremely useful and handy at times like these, even if he couldn't exactly remember how. She didn't see it there before. Dawn was a pawing of the black and blue sky to the east. The sun was at least an hour from rising. The fire was nothing but embers, and Belle realized she had been shocked awake by the cold on her face. She turned over in bed and saw to her dismay there were no more logs in the neat stack. Immediately she felt ashamed. Only 2 days in the castle, and she already was coming to expect service, perfect and punctual. There is no worse than home on a This is no worse than home on a winter morning, she told herself, closing her eyes, embracing herself for the quick emergence from the bed that such mornings usually prompted. It was like jumping into a frozen lake. She threw back the covers quickly, hoping against hope that the warm spot her bed made would still be there after she returned with more wood. Her feet didn't slap against the floor like ice as they would have at home. There was a thick rug to protect them there. She thought with longing about the warm clothes might be in the wardrobe, but opening the thing up while it was sleeping seemed wrong, an invasion of privacy or worse. So she crossed her arms against the frigid air and slipped her shoes over bare feet, preparing to make the long trip down to the kitchen and storerooms. But when she threw open the door, a statue was standing there. For some reason, Belle didn't scream. She did jump back. It was too early in the morning for her head to. It was too early in the morning. Her head was too sticky and murky with sleep, and it was too cold for her to think about much else except for how cold she was. This time the leaves were slightly more arranged to copy human features and possibly inhuman ones. Belle was reminded of the haunting green man images she had seen in books about ancient British churches. Broad leaves flanking the face of a man, of a face like a mane, smaller ones making a flat nose and unseeing eyes. The ivy near its feet was covered with delicate white tracery of frost. Like the other one, it had come from outside. What on earth is that? Any thought Belle had that she was dreaming was immediately banished by the banal, confused words of the wardrobe. Belle spun around and put a finger to her lips. Now it was not the time to interrupt. Were you sent by my mother? She began as she turned back. But the statue had changed in that moment. An arm was now raised, and a finger pointed to something behind Belle. She turned to look. There was nothing really there. The window? She started to ask, turning back, but the statue was gone. That, the wardrobe said, was spooky. Belle ignored her, too wrapped up in what was going on to care about being rude, and went over to the window. Thin strands of pale webbing had somehow reached it, crossing lightly back and forth in front of the pane. In dismay, Belle pressed her face against the glass and tried to see how much more of the castle had been covered. A surprising amount. Thick ropes had breached the top of the perimeter walls, and thin, sickly-looking runners were shooting out from them, spreading out over the open ground. It as if looking for the next vertical edifice to attack. Belle shuddered and had to fight down a surge of panic. Eventually, the webs would blanket the entire castle, enshrouding it and everyone within. Then she noticed that the view of the grounds seemed strangely foggier than the weather should have allowed. It took her a moment to realize that there was a thin film of ice caught between two of the white strands. It was rippled and crazed, and what it showed was not a blurry vision of the landscape beyond, but something else entirely. Her house at night. A dark rider approaching it. No, two riders on the same horse, galloping at breakneck speed, pulling up at the very last minute with a silent buck and protest from the horse. Belle drew back, terrified by this strange vision. Nothing about the situation seemed right. The lead rider jumped down, then turned to help the second rider off. This was a tall, graceful boy who flowed off the horse like water. Belle could see this in the splash of yellow light from the now open doorway. No, don't go out. Belle couldn't stop herself from whispering, but her mother was in the doorway now, speaking to the rider, appearing nervous. Then Maurice was coming forward, clasping the first rider's hand. And then the vision restarted. No, Belle said, frustrated. What is this? What is happening? Is he a relative? Is one of them a relative? Is that an uncle? What is happening? Why are you showing me this? Is he the one who betrayed you? Did you move out here to get away from all of the death and violence and he tracked you down? No idea, dear, the wardrobe said with a yawn. But if you figure it out, let me know. I'm going to get a few more winks of sleep. Good luck. Belle stayed and watched the vision again and again and again for hours. All thoughts of going to get the logs forgotten. Eventually, when the inside of her mouth tasted like death and she couldn't feel her legs, she went back into bed, curled up like a mouse. When Belle awoke the second time, the sun was high and sparkling yellow. Morning, miss, the wardrobe said brightly. You figure out what the statue was? No, Belle said. She struggled for words. I feel like this entire castle is full of my mother. I don't know if she's alive or dead, but it's like everything here has been filled with her somehow. Her memories, her soul almost. She's definitely trying to tell me something. I wish she'd find a less creepy way of doing it. Your old dress is washed, pressed, and ready to go, the wardrobe said, throwing her doors open brightly. Indeed it was, so clean and crisp it was almost new. The apron was spotless and her shirt's sleeves puffy and shining white. Next to it was a glittering yellow ball gown and a heavy pink dress with bell sleeves so long that they might have almost been tippets with a matching fur trimmed stole. Snowed last night, the wardrobe said innocently. Thought you might want to go skating or skating. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but we're trapped on the grounds of this castle now. No way out. I don't think we're getting to go to the river anytime soon. Oh, there's a tiny viewing pond and a larger bailey past the stables. I'll bet it's nice and solid by now. Huh, that was interesting. So if she got a little too stir crazy in the next few months, at least there were courtyards. Thank you, Belle said, reaching for her old dress. Maybe later. Between her mother, the curse, the disappearance of the Charmente, and her apology to the beast, there was too much to do to spend time skating. She hurried downstairs so quickly she almost didn't register the pale, glowing toadstools that had begun to pop up in clusters on the steps. When a particularly bright and ghastly group of them finally caught her attention, she stopped to take a closer look. It seemed like they had been springing directly out of the gray streaks of the marble. The mottling on their stalks and umbrella tops looked like faces pressed up against cloth, screaming or trying to say something, shrouded before they were fully dead. That sounds haunting. Belle felt her stomach turn. Some of the markings were moving just a little, further making them look undead. Part of her couldn't help thinking, Wait, my mother worked with plants, ivy and roses. Mushrooms aren't technically plants, right? Not like ones with leaves. I need to eat something, she said aloud. That would make everything better, including her stomach. The chat with Mrs. Potts, some bacon, and a bright, friendly stove would banish any lingering gloom. But when she got there, the kitchen was as cold as her room had been the night before. The fire on the stove was so low it was almost out. Everything was still and silent. The waitstaff couldn't still be asleep, could they? Had they indulged in whatever magic dreams animated objects could after she had left last night? Were they now all passed out? Good morning, Belle called cheerily. Nothing. Confused, she looked around the room. There in the cabinet was the unmistakable Mrs. Potts. She was the only large white teapot with a pink and purple lid. Her porcelain was shiny and utterly unmoving. Stacked next to her were all the teacups, all but Chip, who was next to her, like someone had placed him safely next to his mother. Mrs. Potts, Belle called softly. She rapped on the glass with a gentle knuckle. Hello? No response. Belle backed away into the middle of the kitchen. She spun around slowly, looking all around her. It was a normal, quiet kitchen, waiting for a human to come in and breathe life into it. Belle ran a hand through her hair, panicking. Was she still asleep? Was she finally awake? Was she just some poor mad girl lost in a deserted castle, imagining teapots who talked and candelabra who flirted? If she ran back upstairs to talk to the wardrobe, what would she be confronted with? Wood and dust? The slightest sigh came from the cabinet. Belle almost sobbed in relief when Mrs. Potts shook herself slowly, throwing off the last remnants of paralysis. I'm not mad. That's something. It was strange to think of a kitchen literally brightening, but that is what it did. The oven glowed warm orange, all of the chairs straightened into full attention, and sconces around the edges of the room lit themselves. Mrs. Potts spied Belle and hopped down from the cabinet anxiously. Oh, my word! I've not overslept a day in all my years here, she cried. Get the kettle on. Lord, it's cold. My dear, I'm so sorry. We'll get you something fresh and hot in a moment. She descended to the table and spun around, directing Chip and the creamer and a small pot of muffins and a silver dome to arrange themselves on a tray. A beautiful day it is. I'll bet the sun melts all of the snow before noon, but we'll just pour you some hot chocolate to take the morning chill off. Thank you. I love hot chocolate. I almost never get it. I love hot chocolate too, Chip chimed in. I can feel it in my cup, he added confidently. He was so cute and chipper, but Belle couldn't help thinking with a shudder how there was a real boy under the porcelain. How old were you when all of this happened? 5, Chip said proudly. He puffed himself out. A little brass pot hopped itself off the stove and carefully onto the table. A cup stood very still, trying to be a serious big boy at his task, while creamy, peppery, hot chocolate was poured into him. Nicely done, Belle said, picking him up. She took a tiny sip and he giggled. Then she grabbed a couple of muffins. I hate to eat and run, but I want to get back to the library and do some more research. I don't suppose you know the name of the enchantress who laid the curse on you, my mother. Mrs. Potts shook her spout mournfully. What a terrible thing not to know the name of your own mother. But I'm afraid I don't either. I'll tell you though, I'm fairly certain Mr. Potts did. He said some things, dropped some hints, but by that time it wasn't safe to have friends who were Shermintes. Certainly not if you lived in the castle. She was known to the other folks here, though. You could try asking them. She came to see the king and queen 3 times altogether. Magic always comes in threes. What? Belle leaned forward. Why? Why did she come so often? Well, the last time it was to curse us all, the teapot said with a dry laugh. The time before that, it was because the king and queen had summoned her to beg her to help with the plague. Did she? Belle asked breathlessly. No, Miss Potts said with a sigh. I'm not even sure if she could. Anyway, she told them no and stormed out the way Lumiere tells it. Belle felt like she had been hit in the stomach. After accusing the beast's parents of being heartless, her own mother refused to help to heal the sick. Why did she visit the first time? It was to bless the baby, the prince, the beast, on his birthday, like they used to do in the old days. Oh, I wish I'd seen that. How confusing, Belle said, trying to wrap her head around the idea of her mother blessing a prince she would eventually curse. Well, the king and queen didn't let her. They said it was archaic and or some such, but it was more like thick-headed, if you ask me, the teapot said with a wet snort. You can be all modern this and anti-magic that, but if an enchantress offers you a free blessing on your child, you're a damn fool not to take it. That's what I think anyway. Didn't let her. Belle felt something like a headache start to come on. A few days ago, she had no mother. Now she had a very complicated one. It was like finding out the country you live in is actually on the moon and beholden to an entirely different set of laws and procedures. No, Belle corrected herself. It was more than that. The mother that Belle imagined she had wasn't a tenth of the mother she actually turned out to be. How could Belle, a lonely little bookworm of a country girl, have ever come from someone so great? She meted out curses and blessings like candy, and then took over an entire castle with her presence. It didn't seem possible. It almost seemed like a mistake. Well, she told herself bravely, I might not have her magic power, but if I'm indeed half of my mother, then I have her willpower and cunning too. I am I'm more up to this than any other creature in this world, right? Thank you, she said aloud to Mrs. Potts before leaving. As Belle went up the stairs to the dining room, she took a little bite of the muffin. Still warm and moist inside, practically dissolving on her tongue. There was a delicate aftertaste of lemon and vanilla. She quickly finished the rest of it and ate the next one immediately, telling herself it was to get it all gone before entering the snack-free library.
I'm glad you ended on the word library.
Yeah.
Chip giggled as she?
Yep.
Chip's a boy.
Yes. Chip giggled as she sipped.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't read the next word. Chip giggled as she sipped from him and tried not to wiggle too much. The hot chocolate was very hot. Belle threw open the library doors dramatically so she could pretend it was for the first time. Again, there were so many other books she could read on this cozy winter day, almost too many. She narrowed her eyes and looked at it the way her father would, with a view to improvements. Rather than ladders here and there, he would have wheeled a cart probably with some sort of chute or pulley system to allow the lifting up and bringing down of books as gently as possible, and a greater number than one person could normally carry. Or maybe a lens on wheels or on a rail above the books so you could look from the comfort of the floor quickly to see if a folio you needed was up there. Suddenly, she noticed the beast at the far end of the room, hunched over a book, frowning at it like he had been there for hours. Belle tiptoed quietly down the main aisle toward him. He had a claw out and it was moving and was moving it slowly across a line of text, frowning. Around him, she saw some of the results of frustration. There were more than a few priceless ancient record books shredded beyond recognition and little piles of what looked like future mouse nests. Beast, she asked in wonder. I'm trying to make a timeline. I went through one book already, pretty thoroughly, I think. Noted all the references to someone who sounded like your mother. He held up a piece of paper that had so many holes in it that Belle was reminded of the constellation maps you put in front of lanterns to make the little stars glow. There were one or two giant names scrawled at the top before the pen developed into meaningless loops and scribbles. I haven't written in a while. The look on his face was such a mix of desperation, eagerness, and forlornness that Belle felt her heart break a little. She took the paper from him and looked at it closely. That's great, she said. That's just what we need. The beast took a deep breath. My parents. I'm so sorry, Belle said, putting the paper down and taking his paws in her hands. Belle looked at him, and the beast looked at them and her in surprise. I didn't know. I had no idea you lost your mother and father to the fever when you were a child. I was a cad and a lout for what I said. The beast opened his mouth to say something. Thank you eventually came out. I am also sorry. I can't always control my rage, he continued haltingly, flexing his paws, trying to find the right words. It was bad last night. My mind went black. I don't remember what happened after I ran from the dining room. It was completely blank. I woke up in the corner of the basement with feathers on my muzzle. Belle tried not to withdraw her hands immediately in horror, but to do it slowly like she was intending to do it anyway. What on earth had those claws touched? What had they done? That's never happened before, the beast said, not even noticing. He spoke through a mouth so large he could have opened it wide and scooped her up and bitten her in half or swallowed her whole. But he could snap off her head with his tusks. But he was hunched over, and the hump on his back was more pronounced. His eyes, light blue and out of place among the darker colors of his body, were wide and covered with a wet film. I'll bet it's the curse, Belle said glumly. You're becoming even more of a beast, and it's all my fault. The beast gave her a very wan smile. And your mother's. Right, Belle slumped down next to him. Parents. The beast almost unthinkingly put his paw on her hand and squeezed like he was comforting her. She leaned into him and he adjusted, putting his arm around her shoulder. They're out there, he said quietly after a moment. Belle looked around the library before she could stop herself. I'm sorry? My parents are out there, he jerked his chin gently towards the window, a strangely human gesture for such a giant chin. I visit them sometimes. Show me, Belle suggested gently. Before they entered the Bailey, they stopped at a cloakroom. The beast was still wearing his fancy pants from dinner the night before, but had divested himself on the shirt at some point. He swirled his old giant and ragged cape around his shoulders and fumbled at the golden clasp, but he didn't lose his temper as immediately as Belle thought he would. Apparently, doing this one thing properly without destroying it was important to him for some reason. Nevertheless, she reached up and firmly did it for him. He didn't say anything, although there was a lopsided half smile on his sad face. She lightly swung an old cloak around her shoulders and tied it under her neck in a movement so graceful the beast couldn't help staring. Then he pushed the door and went out. Belle followed, then stumbled over the threshold. Dizzy and confused, she looked to the beast. He grimly pointed at little piles of dirt that had somehow gotten scuffed up around the door and the base of the walls. At first, Belle thought of moles or other pesky rodents, but it was winter. They would have been asleep or at least unable to dig through the frozen ground. With a skipped heartbeat, she suddenly realized what the cause of the disturbance was. The castle was sinking. It was being pulled down into the ground by the webs that coated the castle like white fungus and now cut them off from the rest of the world. Earth would swallow the castle whole, like it had never been there at all. The curse would make certain that the kingdom would be entirely forgotten. Belle shivered and met the beast's eyes, knowing that he had come to the same conclusion. Neither said a word. She took a deep, cleansing breath, adjusted her cloak, and turned away from the castle to face the outside world instead. Belle was dazzled. It wasn't sunny anymore, but still very bright, with festoons of brilliant color arching overhead. A light snow covered everything, the kind that was so friable and delicately balanced that it would be gone with the first warm breeze. But for now, the landscape was iced and white. The white flakes were still falling from a white sky. Compared to the eternal gloom of the castle, it was positively blinding. Even the sickly bone-white webbing that now cloaked statues and bushes in its strangling tendrils shone with an ugly, pale radiance. The beast began to walk, and Belle followed, stepping in giant claw-shaped tracks. Her feet barely made it up to the middle of his prints. He turned left before he led her through what might in some ancient year have been a courtyard filled with defensive spikes during wartime or sheep and merchants during peace, but was now a slightly overgrown strolling garden, thin and tight under the coldness of the season. It was extremely beautiful in a shabby, overgrown sort of way. Those who followed fads and not the actual philosophy of thinkers like Jean-Jacques Rousseau would have approved wholeheartedly of the return to natural state the garden was taking. Belle couldn't help smiling at the thought of either the beast or the frustrated gardener being interested in the whims and trends of Parisian gardens. Excuse me. Vines had begun to creep up everything. Birds had taken over in a way Belle was pretty sure they wouldn't when more people were in the castle. Woodpeckers loudly attacked bugs and diseased trees and made their signature swooping flight paths over her head. Doves boldly congregated in twos and threes on the ground, looking for seed unthreatened by cat or dog. They passed under an arbor and into what at one time must have been an extremely elegant jewelry box rose garden. Belle caught her breath. It wasn't huge, as she imagined the ones at Versailles and Rome were, but what it lacked in width and depth it made up for in narrow, winding paths and bushes so cleverly interplanted it looked like a maze of roses that went on forever. Climbing roses made thick walls above prim cutting roses. Beech roses lapsed at the base of stone urns that held prized miniature roses. There were no other types of plants at all, except for a surprising number of weeds, and the ivy again creeping along the stone walkways, taking over from below. Belle looked around nervously for gaps in the topiary, for brown, bare strips from which the more ambulatory ivy had come. But everything seemed to be normal. Unlike in Belle's mother's garden, it looked like winter had killed most of the flowers. They certainly hadn't been deadheaded properly, and to Belle's experienced eye, it had been this way for a number of years, with canes not pruned and branches growing weak and heavy from their spent blooms and nutritionally costly rose hips. Normally, Belle would have reached over and casually broken off one of the unbelievably bright pink fruits and popped it in her mouth. Sour it might have been, but also a welcome burst of vitamins and memory of the summer sun. Hidden on a back shelf in their cottage, Marie still kept a stash of her mother's rosehip tea. He never drank it, but once in a great while, she caught him holding a silken bag to his nose and inhaling its aging perfume. The whole place made Belle sad. Not bad sad, just nostalgic and a little weepy for things that were lost or that she had never had, like a mother. Would her mother have taken her into the rose garden and taught her all of the names? Would she have plucked a blossom and placed it in her daughter's hair? Would she have made rosehip tea for her daughter? Would she have made raspberry leaf tea for Belle when she first began to have her monthly blood? There it is.
There you go.
That's the literary word. So that 13-year-old me wouldn't have had to research the possible balms and soothing medicines for it by myself. She crunched some brittle snow under her heel extra angrily with that thought. The beast continued to quietly crunch his way forward through the snow. She couldn't tell if it was affected by the rose garden. He didn't seem any more or less melancholy than he normally did when he wasn't on one of his rages. He hunched over in the way that were very strongly indicated that moving upright on 2 feet was not only uncomfortable and unnatural for him, but at times downright painful. Belle hurried to catch up and then immediately stopped when she saw where they were, a tiny ancient cemetery. It was one of the most beautiful ones she had ever seen. A modern wrought iron fence whose sharp points were leafed with gold surrounded the small patch of lands. Only the kings and queens of the castle were buried here, along with the heartbreaking bodies of some royal babies and children who had never made it long enough to inherit the throne. In front were the 2 most recent stones. They were beautifully carved marble, still fresh and icy looking. Ornate designs of skulls and crosses and roses decorated the rounded tops of the stones, and their inscriptions were carved in beautifully flowing script. Here lie the king and queen of the castle, taken before their time. The beast had squatted down on his haunches to regard them more closely. He took his giant paw to brush off the little snow that accumulated on the top of the graves. Belle knelt down next to him and put a hand on his shoulder. I was 10 when they died, he said softly. I didn't understand. They had done all these things, quarantined the kingdom, sealed us up in the castle, made us drink all these disgusting tonics. He chuckled slightly at the last memory. I hated them. They made me almost throw up. No one else in the castle died, but nothing worked for my parents. From fever to death in less than 3 days. I wasn't allowed to touch them. I was barely allowed to see them. I never had a chance to say goodbye. Belle was suddenly reminded of the beast's change of heart when she was weeping, when he sent her father away. I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye. No wonder that hadn't moved him. I was the last of the line. Everybody wanted to keep me safe, away from them and their sickness, the beast said mournfully, but I would have traded my life for one more embrace from my mother, a final word from my father. Without them, I didn't want to live. Tears coursed down Belle's cheeks. Was it better to never have had a mother or to have one and lose one? The beast shook himself. What remained of the court fled in droves after that. What good is an empty kingdom with no one to rule? What political use is a 10-year-old orphan prince in a backwards land? Beast, Belle said softly, squeezing his giant arm. He sighed deeply. We mourned for a year, as was customary, and then it was time for my coronation. And the night before, my mother showed up and turned you into the beast, Belle finished softly. Turned me into? The beast chuckled with despair. You and your mother think I was well on my way to becoming one all on my own. As unfair as it was to do this to an 11-year-old boy, why would she come the night before my coronation? She was testing me to see if I would be as terrible as a ruler as my parents, and I failed that test. Belle opened her mouth to say that it still wasn't a fair thing to do to a child, but seen from a different angle, the larger picture, it began to make sense. The previous king and queen had turned a prosperous, happy kingdom into an empty nightmare where people were dying in the streets of plague or were beaten and disappeared for being different. Maybe my mother was just doing what she thought would protect that little what was left. Still, it seemed rather a harsh burden for one so young. I know they were terrible rulers. Even as a child, I sometimes felt like they weren't doing the right things. They turned away petitioners, their own subjects, whose houses were taken from them or were being vandalized. Poor folk who were repeatedly beaten by the same thugs who always went unpunished. Sometimes they acted like the tyrants in the stories my nurse read to me. That's why I lost my temper that night. I know you're right about them, but they're dead. His voice was beginning to degrade into a growl. Their mistakes are over. Can't everyone just leave them alone now? The growl turned into a roar. He opened his mouth and howled, his tusks and teeth bare, his eyes closed. It was angry and mournful and chilling all at once, like nothing Belle had ever seen or heard before. Like something ancient and large and lonely that haunted the woods, forever looking for something that it was missing. It had begun to snow again, she noticed, and his hot breath melted the timid flakes all around his giant head like some magical beast who breathed fire. Belle gazed at the haunted, unkept gardens and the mournful ancient cemetery. The ancient air suddenly felt bitterly cold. The flakes became larger and stranger looking. Ashes. Belle suddenly realized as she touched one of them with her finger, and it remained unmelting. Ashes from some dreadful world-ending fire, signs of the war that consumed the land, a vision of everything ending. Two tyrants who behaved like they had never been taught right and wrong, ruling their playbox kingdom hidden in the woods of France, and her own mother, who decided to take it upon herself to punish them and test their child. Everyone behaving like little gods. She took a deep breath. I am so sorry, Beast. He gave a smile. I used to have a name, a real name before all of this. What was it? It doesn't matter now, he said, shaking his head. Even if I turned back into a person, I'll never be that person again. Oh, Belle felt the tears welling up in her eyes and bit her lip. No, it's not so bad, the beast said quietly, putting his paw on top of her hand to comfort her. Not all change is bad. You're making me realize that. Belle felt like crying for reasons she couldn't quite articulate. She realized that even if she hadn't been the one to mess up everything with the rose, even if it wasn't her own mother who laid the curse, she would still have done all she could to help him. It was a strange feeling. She never really had the opportunity to help anyone before except for her father. Belle put her hand on top of his paw and squeezed. We'll figure this out together. she promised. The beast looked down at her in wonder for a moment. Then he put his other arm around her. She leaned into his warm side, and he didn't pull away. Gaston. The tavern, so lively not that long ago, was now gloomy and cold. It was the hour for dark things, far past midnight, but not close enough to dawn for any hope of light. A fire was still burning in the enormous fireplace, banked low, more chastised and sullen than cheery. 3 lonely figures gathered around the single illuminated table, heads and shoulders bent close despite the absence of anyone around to hear. Gaston was there, of course, his giant profile unmistakable, and next to him was his equally recognizable friend LeFou, who was sipping somewhat nervously at a tankard of cider. The third man was thin, with taut, papery skin, barely covering his skeleton. He seemed as ancient as a real mummy, but there was nothing frail in the way he held himself over the fancy cordial Gaston had poured. His hair was long in back, but without a ribbon confining it, the locks strangely neat and greasy. He had all of his teeth, or a very fine set of someone else's, that showed clearly whenever he talked or smiled, which was rare. There was an odd smell about him, too, not from him, but a miasma around his clothes, his cloak, his hat. Something that reminded one of the little too much of a dangerous chemicals, vomit and decay of urine and years. Gaston tried to move his head away without seeming impolite. I don't usually leave the asylum during the week, much less the middle of the night, but they said you'd make it worth my while, the old man said, completely frozen otherwise. He didn't even play with the base of the glass where his yellow fingers rested. Of course, Monsieur d'Arquet. Gaston said as politely as he could. He wasn't used to dealing with refined gentlemen. Not that he needed to most of the time. He pulled a small sack of coins from his coat and tossed it on the table. At first, d'Arquet looked repulsed either at the gesture or the size of his sack. It was hard to tell which. Then he reached with a not so tentative hand and pulled the laces apart. His eyes glowed the same gold as whatever he found in there, as a horrid smile formed on his lips. I'm listening. It's like this, Gaston said, as if presenting a tricky and serious situation like the capturing of an enemy castle. I've got my heart set on marrying Belle, but she needs a little persuasion. A little persuasion? She turned you down flat, LeFou pointed out. Gaston picked up the tankard of cider and shoved it at his friend's mouth. LeFou burbled in protest, but drank. Everyone knows her father's a lunatic, the hunter continued, waving his hand nonchalantly. Be careful using that word, d'Arquet said with a delicate menace. Maurice is utterly harmless. Gaston pounded his fist on the table in exasperation. He was in here tonight raving about some beast that is keeping Belle locked up in the castle. D'Arquet's eyes flickered and he frowned slightly. Otherwise, he made no motion. So surely he was jesting. He seemed pretty serious to all of us, LeFou said, shaking his head, going on about what a big beast it was with fangs, and he said it could talk, Gaston interrupted, shrugging, like a man. How very unusual, d'Arquet said, leaning forward. A talking beast. Do tell me more. Oh, what does it matter, the hunter roared. The point is he's insane, and Belle would do anything to keep him from being locked up. Yes, even marry him, LeFou said, rolling his eyes. Gaston glowered, but didn't disagree. I see, d'Arquet said with glittering smile. Well, normally I would hesitate at the whole idea of throwing an innocent man into the asylum, unless his beautiful daughter marries you, even for gold. But you've piqued my curiosity. All right, I shall do it. Excellent, let's drink to it. Gaston raised his giant beer tankard for a toast with white foam, and white foam spilled over the top. LeFou held up his smaller mug of cider. D'Arquet lifted his own delicate cordial glass, a glint of malice in his eye. There it is.
There you go. A lot happening, and
yes.
These creepy statues just appearing out of nowhere is
Yep.
They remind me of, and I don't know the name of them, but there's these creatures in Doctor Who that they're like white angel statues, and if you look away from them, then they can move and they come at you.
Are they
as long as
cherubs?
you're looking at them, they're solid statues, and That's
Are
what
they
these
cherubs?
no, they're like full angel statues. And when they get real sharp teeth when you're not looking at them, and they're creepy. The weeping angels. Thank you, Snickerdoodle. Yes, they're creepy. That's what these statues keep reminding me of.
Weeping angels.
Yeah. So, not the white angel statues. Freakiest thing ever. Yes.
The cryptids are said to be hostile living statues that move closer when you look away or blink. Well, don't look away.
Yep. So, yeah. Yeah, they're weird.
Again, you want to look at them. If you don't look at them, they're going to come at you.
Yeah. But it's also freaky to look at them because you can't look away from them because once you lock on, you can't. You're stuck. So, it was nice to catch back up to Maurice, and this part is feeling more like the movie.
Yeah, we're back on movie track again.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to get thrown in prison.
Gaston goes after the beast.
Yeah, we had the meeting in the tavern. Crazy old Maurice. That's a famous line. We're right there. And of course, Belle and Beast are starting to have feelings for each other like they did in the movie, except it's through a little bit different path where he introduces her to, his parents' graves and the ancient gardens. And
yeah,
it's pretty nice. I like where it's headed. Even if it's the same story, which I know it's not. Even if it was the same story, this is way better than the last one. So,
Diana Murphy, welcome in. This says we're about 62% of the way through.
Yep. And I don't know if that's true or not, because remember, sometimes the preview of the next book will be on the end.
Right.
So it could go all the way to 100 or it could stop around like 80. So,
yeah. But I'm enjoying this. Is so much better than the last one.
Oh, yeah. We actually want to read this one.
Yeah. So it's interesting to learn more about Beast and his struggles to not become full Beast. So,
yep.
The sinking of the castle was an interesting twist in it too.
They're gonna be forever encased inside.
Yep.
In like a giant tomb because they would suffocate. So. I also thought it was interesting that the beast is becoming more beast-like, having feathers all over himself. So in the middle of the night, he ravaged some poor chicken or something.
Or a pillow or something. Who knows?
Yeah. So.
Well, you want to chill a little while?
Sure. Can I give some news?
Yes. Do I need to play an intro?
I mean, there's news.
Yep. It's intro time. Here we go.
I love that music.
It's pretty good.
I am technically the proud owner of a brand new storage unit. So I bid on it 2 days ago.
2 days.
Nobody bid on it. We had one bid after that, and nobody else bid on it after that. Drove my price to $40. But let me tell you a couple things about it real quick. Number one, I found a scale in there. It's a 10 by 22. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but anyways, we'll figure that out.
Yep.
It's a 10 by 20 unit, and I found a scale in there that sells brand new from the manufacturer for $239. It sells used on eBay for $120. I can sell it for $80 and double my profit or double my investment immediately. Get my money back plus earn it back on one item. That's all I need. On top of that, there are numerous cases inside of tools and things. And nobody knows this yet because I just saw it earlier, right before you started reading. No, like a big, huge scale, like a big 100-pound scale. It's a platform scale, like measuring boxes or weighing boxes and stuff. But right up in front, which you really can't see on any of the pictures except for one, there's an ammo case.
Oh,
And if the ammo case
there's
is
a
full of ammo,
twist.
the ammo case is full of ammo, could be worth a lot of money and could have a lot of stuff. Now, there's also at least 2 air compressors inside this unit.
Oh,
There's lawn care equipment. There's Black & Decker stuff. There's rakes. This is kind of the one I didn't want to get from last night, but the more I looked at it, I was like, yeah, I kind of want it. So there are 2 air compressors. There's a whole transmission to a vehicle inside. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I bet I could sell it for $40 to somebody to make my
I was
money
about
back.
to say, if it wasn't so far to come and get it, I might know somebody.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
Jeff right there. Jeff was going to come help me today. So here's a plot twist on the whole thing.
Yep.
So I go over there. I'm on my way over there. And I call the guy and I said, hey, I'm almost there. And he goes, are you going to have it removed by 5:30? I said, no, I'm just going to be there right for 5:30, pay for it, then I'll work on it. He goes, oh, you can't do that. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, you can't do that. And I said, I looked it up. It says office hours is until 5:30. So I got to get there to pay you. It says access is till 9. I mean, we looked this up all over the place. It's all over the thing. At the very, very bottom in one of the wording of the sentences says must be cleaned out during office hours, not access hours. So I can't do that, but I found a way to reason with him, I think, to where I'm going to be able to get it, or at least get the stuff I want out of it. So
Jeff didn't get his donuts yet.
Jeff didn't get his donuts, but I am going there tomorrow. So if Jeff wants to join me, he can. But I have to be done every day by 5:30.
Yeah.
So but like I said, there is way more than what I spent on this right there in the front, let alone the fact that it goes back 20 feet and it's 10 feet wide. So huge score. I just don't know how I'm going to get it all. I don't know how I'm going to get it all there and in time, but I'm going to talk with them tomorrow to see if maybe they'll let me extend it into one extra day, because then I could do it all on the bulk of it on Saturday. So,
that's weird that you can't get it. That you can only get during those times, isn't it?
It's that company's policy that they don't give out access codes to the gates. How mad is Jeff that he didn't get his donuts? Well, that's Jeff typing it. So, Jeff, we can go tomorrow. So, right guy, they have a hauling a junk removal company. They'll just come in and throw it all away. They don't care. What they're looking back is to reclaim some of the rent that's owed to them. So I'm going to call them in the morning. Like I said, I'm going to go over there tomorrow, pull some stuff out of it that I want to make sure comes out. I want to check the ammo case. I got to pay them for it first, and then. But I mean, it's only $40 is all it cost me for the unit. So, and the more I look at the back too, I also see cases in the back, like in the very back. I don't know if they're tools. I don't know if they're guns. I don't know what they are, but there are cases in the back that I can see. And now that I found an ammo case up front, who knows?
I'm interested to find out, because when we looked at the pictures last night, it looked like a bunch of junk, except for the set of scales.
Yeah. Now that I look at them closer, though, there are different objects that I can see in there that I missed before. Like I said, one of the 20 pictures shows half of an ammo crate in the bottom corner. You wouldn't even see it. It's next to a rusty paint can. Rearranging everything, too, I can see several stacks of hard case tools. And then there's some, like I said, a lot of lawn equipment. There is a washer and dryer in there, which I'm going to need. It looks very good and very clean. But what else is in here? There's a There's a Tootsie Roll bank right in the top. Who knows what it's got in it, if it's got anything in it.
That's like something Jeff could use.
I don't know. Just thought maybe what's got me. I'm looking at this other picture too, and I thought there was originally a couch, but I don't think there is. I think it's like something sitting on top. It looks like a couch, but I don't think it is. And then underneath it, there's another air compressor in the back. There's saws. There's rakes. There's cases. Like I said, there's another case back here in the back that I didn't catch at first. There's motor parts. There's boxes. There's tubs. I mean, it's got a lot in it. Like a lot. There's more tubs. Just all kinds of stuff. So what I thought about doing is just going over there with a see, Wendy, I don't have a truck. That's my problem.
You can get a U-Haul.
Oh, there's a
and get
baseball.
out of it.
There's a baseball. Could be autographed. I don't know. Randomly just sitting in there. More tools, a football. What is that? Ooh, that might be some artwork. Looks to be like an old-timey camera, but I'm not sure if that's what it is or not. I can't. It's underneath stuff. Looks to be a stainless. There's a stainless steel kettle set. Looks very old and ancient. There's more gardening tools. Hang on, my mom's calling me.
Wendy says, I hate the truck, but we have one. He could always get another U-Haul and get locked out of it. So there's that option too. I feel like Steve needs going back to Doctor Who, I feel like Steve needs a storage unit like the TARDIS, where it's a little box on the outside, but when you walk in, it's like this huge room.
It's a 10 by 20. It's massive.
Yeah.
I need to see what Jeff's doing tomorrow around midday, 1 o'clock. Like I said, that one scale, and I can tell it works because there's something sitting on it and it weighs 17 pounds. It's in really good shape. I'll just clean it up. You just got to wipe the dust off. There's all kinds of tools and stuff in here, though. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. So I'm going to take, like I said, a bunch of trash bags tomorrow. I'm going to just open it up because it's all drive up too, so I don't have to go carry it around everywhere. Jeff will probably be working. Jeff needs to take half a day tomorrow. I'm going to drive up, start throwing stuff that I don't want away, putting in trash bags, take the good stuff that I can get to that I want. I do most of it by myself. Jeff and Ron helped me with the last one, and Ronnie. But I still went back and moved the rest of it all by myself, which sucked. Luckily, it doesn't seem to be too many big things in here. The transmission, I don't know how heavy the transmission is. Anybody know how heavy a transmission is?
Yes, they're pretty heavy. Yeah. You will probably need another person to help with that.
Can 2 people lift a transmission?
Yeah. If you have a good back. The problem with that one is it's sitting on the floor, so you're going to have to. Yeah. You might could get Jeff to leave work early tomorrow if you entice him with donuts. That's all I'm just going to say.
I mean, I'd buy Jeff donuts if he came.
Yeah. Jeff thinks the transmission is from a Yugo.
I don't know what that means.
That would be a very small transmission, Jeff. This looks like a huge bell housing on the back of
Jeff. Did Jeff hear that I found an ammo case?
He might have. I'm not sure.
Find the picture now. There it is. So I found in this one corner here.
Double donuts. Ooh, yeah.
I'll give you double donuts.
Man, I'd love to have a donut. That'd be good.
I mean, I'll buy Jeff the donuts. I won't eat them, but I'll buy them for him.
Walked into the house this afternoon, Steve. Mom had just come back from the grocery store. You know what is sitting on our kitchen table?
It's hard telling. Fried chicken.
A brand new pack of unopened Oreos.
You can't eat them.
I'm like, Why the heck did you get Oreo? Not only that, but she got 2 packs of Oreos. One of them is mint Oreos, and I've always wanted to try mint Oreos.
Just lick it.
Yeah,
Twist and lick and put it back.
I'll twist and lick something, but yeah. Okay, yeah, that's an ammo box.
It is, right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yep, I thought so. Sitting right up there in the front, hidden behind that, whatever that is.
The lid kind of looks like one. It's missing the handle. There's usually a handle on top of them.
Well, if you look real close, that might be the handle, right? I see one handle that's laying down. If you zoom in real close,
yeah,
it could be there, and just like it's behind the lid still.
Maybe.
I'm not sure that's a lid either.
Yeah,
looks like a panel for a vehicle or something.
Stephen K, welcome in.
Hello, Stephen.
Don't want to see any of this stuff up on auction for Magical Night. I hope you.
No.
Tina says, no, we aren't talking about food. I'm all snuggled in bed and not getting up to eat something. Okay. I take that as a challenge, Tina.
True.
I've got these Stonefire non-crisps that are everything flavor that are amazing.
I ate my garlic ones.
I have cheese crisps. Yeah. I ate the last of my boar's head teriyaki chicken today. That was that was really good. So
5 would be 6. Okay, it's too late. Ow. I'm just curious to boar's head. What did you eat again?
Teriyaki chicken.
Teriyaki chicken.
It was good.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Tina says, "Oh, I almost bought Parm crisps today."
Those are good. I gotta save this number real quick.
There you go. I got them at Sam's, which is the sister store to your other favorite store.
My favorite store?
No, Tina's.
Oh.
Ordered them today.
Dang it. We gonna chill for a little bit or what?
Yeah, we're gonna chill a little bit. Bags 4 and 5 are kind of small. We're gonna try to knock those 2 out. I'm trying to be a good girl. Got some crappy blood test results. Like I can eat cardboard and that's it. Oh, I can recommend some cardboard for you. Yeah, we're going. Are you good to chill a little while, Steve?
Yeah.
Stephanie says, Steve, I have some research I'd like to conduct. If you will help, do a study on the Beverly, the China bar.
Do what?
You drink them all day and every day if they can weight loss.
I'm not going to be drinking that stuff like that.
Ooh.
I already did that. It made me, the side effects of that are real. Has quinine in it.
That's not good for heavy consumption.
No.
There's your partner.
There's my partner in crime.
Y'all should open up a business like Sanford and Son or something.
You don't know what a Yugo is?
I don't know what a Yugo is.
I know what a Yugo is.
Oh, come on. Really?
You're very dark tonight, Jeff. Did you turn your other light on?
They're both on. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Got a little weird talking in the third person when he was getting mad, so I figured
How was your day? Did you finally get to work today?
I had the first full day a week first full work day and
of the week.
Thursday, yeah.
See, it's a lot of work. You should take half the day tomorrow off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make up for it.
I wish I could.
I'm gonna hammer that thing hard tomorrow with whatever I can.
Chris, I was like getting ready to walk out the door when he called.
Was.
Oh yeah.
He's like, don't come. I'm like,
Oh.
but there's donuts.
There's donuts.
Dude, I couldn't. I drove right past your house. I could have picked up the donuts and just brought them to you. I didn't even think about that.
Don't
Why'd you
say
drive
that
by
now.
donuts?
That's
Why?
not helping Steve.
Yeah. Why did you drive by? Why were you down here?
Because I came straight down 27. I mean, I was just right around the corner from your house.
No, because it wasn't that far from my house. That storage shed.
No, and it's right there by all that new stuff in Claremont too, where the new Costco is and everything. It's just right around the corner from all that.
I know.
Citrus Tower.
All right.
But anyways, there's all kinds of parts in there of stuff. I've got an idea, Jeff. I'm going to ask him if he'll let me have to the end of the day Saturday.
Okay.
Because if he will, I can get it. But if he won't, then I'm going to get whatever I can out of it before the deadline. So
That's a little ridiculous. Their policies.
That is kind of crazy.
Well, it's ridiculous that it's buried at the very bottom after it says office hours and access hours.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff, I also found this. I don't know if this picture is going to come out. So you see the picture I sent you, right?
No,
I sent it to you and Chris.
I was doing something. Is that sausage?
What?
Is that sausage?
It's an ammo crate. What do you see sausage?
Oh.
Oh, I see what you're looking at. I don't know what that is,
It's
actually.
an ammo crate? It looks like a goldfish now that I look at it.
Yeah, it does look like a fish. The box next to it is an ammo crate, an ammo box. And then this one, it's hard to see, but you can see the shiny brackets right above the red compressor. There's cases back there that look like that. And I don't know what those cases are.
Grenades.
I was watching a guy open one today, or I was watching a guy open one that had a grenade in it.
Good night, Debbie Thuner. We'll be thinking about you. Debbie said
night.
that she had house fire today.
Oh no.
So, Debbie, we'll be praying for you. Take care. And
Yeah, if you get any dynamite, I'm running a little bit low.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
I have 5 sticks left.
oh no.
Wendy, hop in the truck and start driving. You can be here tomorrow.
See, when you got everybody interested in the unit.
I am.
Yep.
So, Chris, I found a new puzzle today.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the silver ones.
Ooh. Oh, Alice. I like that.
I've never seen this one.
I've never seen that.
It's a Seco Silver Edition.
Did you find that at Target or Walmart or
Walmart. So, but I liked it, so I grabbed it because it was the only one they had.
1,000 pieces? Is that what it said?
Yeah.
nice?
I'm working my way.
So now I was all bummed out about this. Now I'm all excited about this again. And you got to talk to the guy in the morning though about it all.
Try to talk some sense into him. Maybe it'll be a different person there tomorrow.
Maybe.
Oh no.
Here's hoping.
He's the store manager, so I doubt it, but we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I don't know what an ammo box is. What is that? A box to store ammo in?
Yeah,
Yes.
ammo crate. Now it doesn't mean it's got ammo in it.
Yeah. But sure,
But
it's
that's
worth it.
typically where one would keep their ammo.
But you're telling me there's a chance.
Yes.
And there's a chance.
If nothing else, it's going to make for some interesting like suspense while I get ready to open it, and then open it real fast and see what's in it. And in the first video I did that I found ammo crates in, I basically walked right to the camera and said, hey, this is where you either find the ammo or this is where they keep their nudie pics. So we want to have some weight to it to
Yep.
make sure it's got ammo. And it was heavy and it was full of ammo.
Hey, Suzanne. Good to see you.
Hello.
Howdy. Vicky Gillespie, welcome in. Good to see you.
Did it rain where you were today, Steve?
Oh my gosh. I came straight down 27 after all that,
Yeah.
all the way home. And I stopped at Walmart. And the minute I got out of my car, it went from nothing to sideways rain instantly. My pants are hanging up there because they got so soaked. I had an umbrella too. My big umbrella did not help.
It was crazy here.
It poured here, but it was a different storm than what y'all had.
It's those afternoon showers.
Yep.
I went out in the pool because the pool water was really warm. And I came back inside and I was like freezing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Did you have to drain your pool again?
No, it didn't rain that much.
It rained. That's good.
It rained a lot here.
Ray made it back to Philadelphia.
Yay and boo at the same time.
Yeah.
I heard today is Anne Marie's birthday.
It is.
Well, happy birthday, Anne Marie.
Happy birthday. It was crazy rain today in Georgia. They said it was tropical rains. It will be this way all week. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, Diana. We're the same way here. All of a sudden, I heard thunder and the buckets started pouring.
Those buckets.
Enough to drown a duck.
What?
Enough to drown to death.
Yep.
So would the guy have let you in today?
Until 5:30.
So that wouldn't have given you much time.
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
So no.
Could have at least grabbed those scales.
Well, but it would have taken longer to get the paperwork done.
Oh, that's true. 15.
So I doubt it.
Still raining here. My lawn is happy. Windy. It stopped here. Started again a little while ago, but it stopped now.
Yeah, it's not raining here anymore. Hi, Jan.
Hello.
Hey, Jan. Welcome in. Good to see you. Ray Missouri. Welcome in, Ray. Howdy. Did Ray end up? He made it back to Philly. Did he end up trying Salt and Straw today?
He did. I did wonder.
What did Ray think?
Ray's on my bad side today.
Yeah, Ray liked it.
Ray had fish tacos at Summer House. First of all.
Oh.
And then he liked the vanilla ice cream over at Salt and Straw. So there's one other person besides Steve.
Sparkly Pink Diamonds was in here earlier. She said she made fish tacos tonight.
Are you serious?
I think she might have been lying just to get under Jessica, but she might have been serious. I don't know.
She said she needed to send a picture.
She said what?
She said she was going to send a picture.
Let me see. Hi, Becky. Let's see. No, she did not.
Tina made fish tacos last week. They were good.
Why would
Boo.
anybody do that?
Boo to the fish tacos.
I ordered them at a restaurant last week, and they were good.
Boo. That's not her.
All right.
So they had these bacon pineapple sausages at Publix. I guess they have a specialty. I don't know how long. Is it
Bacon pineapple sausage?
bacon pineapple sausages at Publix? So Wendy actually got some and made some something with them. I won't get into detail. And I've been eyeing those up at Publix because I've been looking at them too. So she said they were good. I bought some. I thought they were delicious.
Oh.
Angela hated them. So I thought they were delicious.
Bacon pineapple sausage. I would be tempted to try that.
Ugh. Oh my God.
What?
Angie just sent me a picture of her fish tacos. It looks disgusting.
What did you do to deserve that?
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight now.
Something tells me that if Jeff ever tried fish tacos, he would actually like them,
No.
and that annoys him more than anything.
No.
Let's see.
I knew Wendy. I knew she wasn't gonna like them. I thought they were fabulous, though.
Wendy liked them with fried rice. Ooh, I bet that was good with fried rice.
But they were really good.
Did you like grill them, Jeff, or how did you fix them?
I think she was gonna grill them, and then I think she just made them on the oven. She just
Like pan fried
put
them?
a pan in the on the oven and just fried them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, in the pan. Yeah.
I would starve if she wasn't here.
That's not true, Jeff. You cooked on stream one time.
I know. I can cook. I just don't know all the terminology. I don't
I'm not going to say it went really well, but you did it.
Is that the one where I ended up having to run outside with the pan that was on fire?
That was the one. Yeah.
Yeah. She wasn't happy about that.
I can't imagine that. She wasn't happy with you setting the place on fire.
I didn't. I got the fire out the side before it could burn.
You did.
Inside.
Well, in that case, you did a great job.
He ran quickly for the door.
And you should be commended for your work.
He ran very quickly for the door, especially when Angela started coming down the stairs.
Oh my God, she would.
He was gone like the wind, bullseye.
Well, I think she could smell the smoke first of all,
Oh,
and then the fire alarm started going off.
That would do it.
one of those two.
I don't know why. Maybe because I've been watching House of Dragons, but Chris's puzzle reminds me of Game of Thrones. It kind of does. Yeah.
I have never seen any of those, House of Dragons or Game of Thrones.
Really?
Sad
I
person.
know.
I feel bad for you, like genuinely. Well, that doesn't go there. Dang it. No wonder I'm having issues.
Have you watched, or are you going to watch The Acolyte, Jeff?
I watched the first episode, and Angela and Abby are trying to catch up on Cobra Kai right now.
I forgot that was out. I got to go watch that.
So they're on season 2 of Cobra Kai, and it's just painful.
Oh.
It's just painful watching shows with Angela, first of all, because she just has so many questions. And I'm like, well, you would understand what they're saying if you didn't ask questions. Just listen.
So is the final season of Cobra Kai out now? We can watch it?
Yes. Well, there's 5 episodes.
Okay.
I have never watched that show.
I
No,
love that show,
it was good.
especially when they got the original cast back.
It's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah.
Noah's all caught up.
It was all cool.
It's a good show. Good show.
Part 1 of 3. Says,
Yeah, they're dropping like 5 episodes now, then 5 episodes in a couple months, then 5
good.
episodes in December or something.
So it's a long season then.
Yeah.
Man, if it's gonna be that long, I may want to wait. I don't know if I can wait till December. But then somebody will undoubtedly spoil it for me if I do try to wait. So
yeah.
Vicky's seen all 5 now. She's waiting until November. There are 6 seasons of Cobra. So yeah, Corby. Yeah. Like I feel like I couldn't catch up. Like I caught up with Stranger Things. That was one of the things my kids made me watch was Stranger Things.
you loved it though.
So I did love it. I did love it.
Okay. This is kind of interesting. Steve, Roxval, and everybody else. This is interesting. So up here, there's some very small writing. After I've built this red little piece here,
Yep.
and it says it's cool because they give you little facts about it as you're building it. Apparently, the elegant portal that offers direct access to the choir takes its name from the color of the portal's door panes. The Port Rouge, it was renovated around 1270. I think that's kind of cool that they add little
Oh, for sure.
facts.
Actual facts.
Yeah, actual facts. There you go.
Well, I mean, if you technically fact checked them, because they could be making it up, but I doubt they are.
Yeah. Angie says Stranger Things is one of my favorite shows. I have not watched Stranger. I watched season 1, and I got halfway through season 2, and I have not gone back to Stranger.
I think I got through 2.5 and I gave up.
Wow.
It wasn't that I didn't like it. It's just I started watching something else and never went back to it, I think. But I hear that 4 was really good.
Well, all the kids. It's been like 3 years since, or how long has it been since the last episode? Like the last season?
I don't know. I gave up.
It's like 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Like how are
You're
they
getting old.
Yeah, the kids are getting older.
Yep. This piece.
All right, switching gears.
Okay.
Are you looking forward to any particular event in the Summer Olympics?
Oh,
Several.
I just like watching any of the Olympics. To be honest, I pulled up Peacock the other night, and if you have Peacock, when you go into it now, it comes up with a menu for you to select the events that you want to record, which is kind of cool.
Really?
Yeah. So that you don't miss them.
Do they even know what they are yet, though?
The
But
event.
it had all the different little icons for like, fencing, running, decathlon, all that sort of stuff. Basketball. I like to watch the Olympics. Yeah, I'll watch any of it that's on. I don't know that in the Summer Olympics I have sort of a favorite one that I like to watch.
I'm interested more in a story, I think, than anything.
Yeah.
And that is one of the American divers. His name is Tom. Not Tom Wiles. What's his last name? Tom something other. Is on the Olympic team. Got over there and is practicing, and has been told he is not part of the Olympic team by the committee.
Oh, wow.
It turns out it's because you have to qualify. Well, he did qualify last week on NBC, but NBC's cameras didn't pick him up. They picked up his diving partner because they're in tandem diving. So he picked up the other one, and they splashed down. But since he's not shown on TV, they're not letting him compete.
What?
That's crazy.
He has appealed to NBC to try to get better footage to see if he can get it.
That makes no sense at all.
I agree.
That doesn't.
I agree. But
Wait, it was tandem diving?
Yeah, like
Sorry, I'm spitting. I'm so mad.
Synchronized diving, yeah.
Synchronized diving. So they don't realize it takes two to synchronize dive?
They just don't have they can say that it was I don't want to say conspiracy, but like they can't prove he's the one diving.
Wow.
What a cluster. Like how did they mess that up?
I don't know.
I don't know, but what's crazier to think is I'm pretty sure the Olympics started before there was TV. So at some point somebody had to take somebody for it. So.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know the story behind it. I just saw a brief story on it, so I don't know if it got fixed already. I don't know what the case is, but I do know that he was told that he's not part of the team, not by the United States, by the Olympic Committee.
I'm interested to see how. I'm sure it'll be fine, but there has been some unrest in Paris of late, so it's going to be interesting to see if everything pulls off smoothly for them.
I'm interested in seeing how bad LeBron James screws up the basketball team.
Oh yeah,
They almost got beat again, whatever it was yesterday.
Did you see that their beds are made out of cardboard?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes.
Oh.
They're
nice hardy cardboard.
It is. It's very sturdy.
That's true, Snickerdoodle. They did used to compete naked back in the day. Well,
what?
Back when the Olympics first started, they would compete naked.
Ew.
I competed naked back in 1981.
You sure did.
That's why he's got a lifetime ban.
Wait, do I have a lifetime ban?
You're not allowed on the U.S. Olympic team, Jeff. Sorry.
Tell you what, water polo is one sport you don't want to play naked.
Or Greco-Roman wrestling.
Greco-Roman wrestling is another one.
Fencing might not go well. Just naked.
Basically walk up to the guy and go, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you.
I want Olympic tickle competitions. Yeah. For these.
Perfect.
So what were the sports you were looking forward to, Steve?
I do like water polo. I love watching water polo and volleyball.
Women's sand volleyball,
beach volleyball.
Yep. I also probably I could care less about the basketball because I can't stand half the people on the team.
Olympic golf.
Golf. I'll watch golf.
Is golf a sport in the?
Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm like Christo. I'll pretty much watch anything if it's on. but it brings me back to my favorites. And I don't know why, because it's like a train wreck to watch. But my favorite of all Olympic sports to watch is curling, and I have no idea why. It's like a train wreck that I cannot turn away from.
It's not a train. There's a lot of strategy involved in curling.
Well, yeah, there is.
Ball. I enjoy the volleyball.
I love tennis.
Naked co-ed. No, Jeff. No, not that.
What happened?
Jeff Condon.
Oh.
I'll probably use the Peacock app, to be honest, because I was looking at it the other day when it came up with the options to set record, and it'll actually let you do a 4 screen of the events, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So. Well, it lets you choose the the frame you want to listen to.
I believe so.
That's what I dislike strongly about the live feeds for Big Brother is they'll show you there's 4 cameras and they'll show you all 4 and they'll do the quad, but you can only listen to, they all play the music or the sound at the same time. So it's hard to hear what's going on with any one of them.
Make sure you look for Jen and Tony Piccolo in the stands.
Yep.
Yes.
That would be cool to see somebody, that would be out of all the people there. Raga says, I like the Winter Olympics over the summer, but summer is still really good. I agree with you, Raga. I do prefer winter.
I prefer the summer, except for curling.
Yeah. Does curling involve anything from Spencer stores? No, Tina, it does not. You just need a Swiffer broom and a big mallet thing.
There's nothing better than Olympic hockey, in my opinion.
I do like Olympic hockey.
Corby wants to know, Steve, you can just select one of the Big Brother cameras to focus on. Yeah.
I know I don't like that because the way it works is I got to back out, go to the previous screen, select it. I want to be able to take the 4 of them, watch all 4 of them, then just select one of the 4 boxes while it's on the same screen and change the volume. I can do it with all my sports, everything else. Just can't do it with Big Brother.
Wendy says Tony's Village in Germany plays a redneck version of curling when their pond freezes over. Not kidding. It involves beer, I believe she was trying to say.
Oops. Just kidding.
Wait a minute. On this Big Brother show, you can pick one camera and view it from that point?
Oh, they have 4 feeds, yeah.
4 feeds?
Not if you're watching the live stream or the live feeds, not the show.
Oh.
And that you have to watch through Paramount Plus, right?
Yes. Or Pluto TV.
Do you know
listen, Neil, welcome in, Neil, and Disney Freak County.
Do you know breakdancing's a sport this year?
No, really?
It may be an event, but it's not a sport.
It right there.
I'm just saying it might be an event. It's not a sport. Breakdancing is not a sport.
Breaking.
I don't care what it says.
I'm telling you.
That's crazy.
I trust you that it's going to be there.
It's going to be there. Table tennis.
I do like to watch that sometimes.
Yeah.
What's the mascot? Does anybody know what the mascot is for this?
Oh, no, I don't.
2024.
Well, the last Summer Olympics, was that the Brazil?
The 2020 was in Tokyo.
Okay.
2020 was in Tokyo. 2016 was in Rio.
When's he come back to the U.S.?
I don't know. Is it?
Eventually it will. I just don't know when.
Here.
Breaking.
It's just called breaking.
Breaking. Breaking competitions at the 2024 Summer Olympics are scheduled to run from 9 to 10, August 9th through 10th at Place de la Concorde, making the sport's official debut in the program and the first dance sport discipline to appear in the Summer Olympic history.
Oh, so I saw an article the other day that originally they were supposed to have some of the Olympic swimming events done in Paris in the river.
Oh my.
And which was a big to do because the river is heavily polluted, apparently. And they had sworn that they were going to have it cleaned up, and they were going to have it so clean that like the mayor of Paris was going to swim in it himself. And they put that off last week because they haven't got it cleaned up. So they're not sure what that means for the events that were supposed to be held there.
Interesting. What river is it?
The Seine, I think it's the River Seine. Seine, whatever, however it's pronounced.
Yeah. I got you. Oh. Oh, I should have went ahead over there and paid for it tonight, Jeff. I just put my lock on it. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, I'm not giving them this money. But then I was like, oh man, it was only $40. I should have just went ahead and paid for it and just grabbed like 10 things I could grab out of it just to show some stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
It's a shame they could get that river. I guess that's a big river, though, right? The Seine River.
Is. Yeah.
Let's see.
So here's our side profile so far.
Nice.
Looking good.
It is looking really good.
These are clear glass. The lower part is all clear glass, and then
looks like stained glass above it.
Stained glass above it. Yeah.
That's so cool.
So
that was bag 4.
That was bags 4 and 5.
Oh, you've done 4 and 5?
Yep.
So what's next? 6?
Next up is 6. Yep.
It doesn't look like that big of a bag.
Yeah.
It's okay. I know you want to get to your thing done.
Yeah.
Not going to fight you tonight on it. I would lose anyways.
I'm guessing all their sewage is flowing right to this river.
That's what they had said, that there was a lot of human sewage in the water.
That's just gross.
I mean, it goes right through. Right through the stinking city.
Yes.
Of course, there's going to be.
Yep. There's been a couple of. I saw a couple of girls that did vlogs and stuff over there, and were filming it, and it is a disgusting river. I don't know how they were going to get that clean without like removing all of the water and putting in new water.
Maybe they thought they were just going to put a big net and catch all the little turds as they went by.
Don't know, but that's still.
It's 483 miles long.
Yeah.
It's a big net.
A bunch of poo.
It is a bunch of poo.
Um,
And not Winnie.
We won't talk about Rock Creek now. I'm sure there's lakes or rivers around here too. Wendy says Paris is crap. The countryside is amazing. Tell us how you really feel, Wendy. Dinah and Wendy were saying all of the buildings are still in use in Atlanta from the '96 Olympics.
Really?
I remember those Olympics. We were vacationing at Myrtle Beach when those were going on, and I remember that all happening. I'll never forget that.
When was the Atlanta Olympics? What year?
96.
Yep.
96.
It's been a while.
I think I remember that.
Jan agrees. Wow. I thought Paris was filthy. I agree. The countryside is wonderful. Really?
We'll see
Yeah, you always have these romantic visions of Paris just being so beautiful. Picturesque scenes.
Yeah, we'll see what Jen and Tony say when they come back.
Yep. Wendy says, I got to see some of the 96 competitions. Also stood in the crowd when we were awarded it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to call it a night.
What?
I need to work on Name That Tune. I'm not going to lie. I've got 2 categories prepped. Got some more I need to work on that. So we'll have that ready for Saturday night. It's an all new take on Name That Tune.
Yay.
Some people are not going to be happy. So, yeah. Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Yep.
So, Tina is usually live at 5:00 on Wednesdays. I saw Joy's already has her thumbnail up for tomorrow night at 8:00. They'll be doing trip recap tomorrow evening.
Nice.
And then this and that at 9:00. What are you talking about tomorrow night, Steve?
Important stuff.
Awesome. Be sure to check that out. I'm sure it'll be a riveting conversation. There may not be a rent-a-person there.
I think we're all going to be back in normal next week or tomorrow.
Nice. So that'll be one you'll want to watch then, because you won't have a cheap replacement there.
I don't think it's that. It's I'll be actually be able to run stuff again.
There you go. So hope everybody has a good night, and we'll see you back here Thursday night after Jeff and Corey. And
Corey's not live this week.
Okay, so we'll see you back here Thursday night after Jeff.
That guy.
Since Corey's not live, we'll say Magical Night of Hope tickets are on sale now.
Yes.
So you can purchase those. They have general admission available, VIP, and you can do a whole table as well. So,
That's true. And don't wait till the last minute to get them. And that's not a ploy to sell tickets. They're starting to sell. We sold more in the first few days this year than we have in any other year.
there you go.
So
I will say I purchased 2 today.
nice.
Hope everybody has a good night. Like I said, we'll see you back here Thursday night. Pete on tomorrow night after this and that. Forgot that one. So be sure to check him out. But Yeah, love y'all. We'll see you back Thursday after Jeff, who will be live from somewhere at Disney World. Thursday, 5:00. Love y'all. Have a good night. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Bye, toodles.
Bye.